Hi guys, and welcome back to 97 Projects. I'm Amy, and today I'm going to be showing you how I make and pack my keyrings for Etsy. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. Also, 99% of my views come from people who aren't subscribed, so if you do enjoy today's video or if you find any use from it, make sure you let me know in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more. As always, we're going to be using our trusty craft resin. It had great reviews on Amazon and is non-toxic, but obviously still make sure you take the safety precautions that you need to. Well ventilated room, nitrile gloves, respirator if you need it. It can be toxic, it can irritate your skin and harm your lungs, so just don't skip it, there's no point. I will try and link as much of the stuff that I'm using today in the description, so if you wanted to give it a go for yourself, you can take it straight from there and put it straight in your basket. Little disclaimer, they are affiliate links, so if you do end up buying anything from those links, then I end up getting a small commission. Just due to the nature of resin, a lot of the stuff isn't recyclable, so try not to use plastic cups where I don't have to. I've got lots of reusable pots and silicone cups, silicone stirrers as well, so you can just peel the resin off and reuse those. Kind of helps with the sort of environmental impact, trying to reduce that as much as possible. For the resin, I've already got this spreadsheet which works out how many mils it takes to fill up each of the letters. So all you need to work out is, if you get an order, which letter it is, and then I normally divide it by 2 so I can do the resin in 2 layers. So I normally do a first layer with the flowers and petals, and then a second layer on top just to make sure all the petals and everything's covered inside it. So, as you can see, we need 17 mils, so I'm going to round that up to 18 to make it a nice round number. And I need 9 of part A and 9 of part B. On standby, I've got a cup of hot water, which I can stand the mix in and try and reduce the bubbles and make it nice and liquidy. Right, so part A then. Part A. And we need 9 mils. We then tear that back to 0. Oops. Back to 0 please. And need 9.5 of part B. Why am I holding my breath? Don't hold your breath. Oh. Close. Turn that off, and then we need to slowly mix it for a little bit. Make sure you don't get any water in the resin, you'll completely ruin everything. So just try and hold it above the waterline so that it gets heat into there. This will really help with bubbles and making sure you get a nice clear finish with the resin. Oh, how far we've come since the first resin video where I did a huge cup and then wondered why it started to cure so quickly. If you work in small portions, then it's not going to cure as quickly, which kind of gives you a little bit more time to play with. Just try and stir as slowly as possible. Try not to lift the stick out either, because you might incorporate more air when you put it back in. You'll see it slowly start to combine. Do try and grab the edges as well, just in case there's a little bit caught on the edges. If it goes more runny, more liquidy, you know it's getting close to where you need it. If you see a lot of bubbles, you can use a heat gun, but the heat gun I've got blows the resin out, so it doesn't really make sense to use it. I've got a little torch here which kind of pops the bubbles on the top of the surface, and as this heats up, the more bubbles will rise to the surface, and you can just keep popping them with the lighter. So I'm not going to use a pipette, I'm going to sort of eyeball it so that each of these is filled up halfway. Pour a little bit and then just move it around the edges. Make sure you get all the corners, because you don't want any like air pockets in the corners. I'm going to leave that standing upside down on E while we torch the rest of them. Just make sure we get any leftover bubbles. Do this before the flowers go in because we don't want it burning the flowers. Get a coaster mould and then just pop that upside down in there. This is a silicone mat as well, so you could just tip it up on top of this. This sort of protects the table from resin sticking to it. If you're doing it on like your mum's kitchen table, make sure you've got some sort of silicone mat down so that you're not ruining the table. You will have seen me use this gold leaf in the first ever resin video. Yes, I'm still using it. It's still brilliant stuff. And I am, just so we get a little bit of the gold at the front. So obviously these are face down, so anything you put on the bottom will be going on the front of the key rings. So I am going to put a tiny little bit of gold before I put any of the flowers in, just so it can stand out and we get a little bit of that gold on the front. Just using that same silicone stick that's already got resin on it, just to pick out bits of gold leaf and then just place them into the moulds. Right, next we're going to take some of the same petals that you've seen me use in the first video, and all I'm doing is picking out some nice petals, and then using that same silicone stick just to plop them into the resin. So I'm sort of spacing them out nicely. And we also need some gold leaf on top now. There we go, and we just want to leave that for 24 hours until the resin's fully cured, and then come back tomorrow and add another layer over the top. So I normally put these little pearls in with it as well, so I'm just going to add those in afterwards, facing down so that people can see them when they open the key rings up. Once I've added my second layer of resin and waited another 24 hours, it's time to pop them out and give them a light sanding down. I use wet and dry paper and some water, and I normally work down from 120 grit down to 2000 grit because apparently I'm a sucker for punishment. Finally, I give all the key rings a good polishing with some turtle wax and buff out all the last little bits of scratches. For the fixings, you will need as many keyring parts as keyrings you're making. You will also need as many jump rings, and you need, now I use eye hooks and I've never had issues with eye hooks. It's up to you if you want to use this or if you want to drill into them and use the jump rings through the holes. I've got a drop down menu on my Etsy listings so the customer can pick out what tassel they want. I start assembling the key rings by screwing in the eye pins and then taking the jump rings and adding the tassel on and then the key ring. Each order is placed inside a gift bag, inside a gift box, tied up with strings, and then each order will include a thank you card with a gift voucher on there. As long as you've worked out your postage correctly, Etsy have made it really easy to print off postage labels straight from the website. And then I just make up the postage bags with the labels and some thank you stickers. Can't believe I'm doing this again. Why did I touch that? It should be cured by now, I haven't done resin in months. Trying to show you a non-crusty stirrer. How I... Make sure you still take the When I first bought my silicone mould, I completely forgot what I was saying. That's what living with a boy's like. Valorant. Anybody play it? I played it for a little bit, but I've watched it more than I've played it now. If you're as clumsy as me, don't wear new clothes. I made the mistake of wearing my Lululemon leggings that I bought when I was in Florida while I was doing resin, and I've got a big resin stain on them now, so forever tainted. Little disclaimer, the links that I add in there from Amazon are affiliate links, so I will get a small commission. Don't mind me. Should have tied my hair up. No! Damn it. I'm going to tie my hair up. Thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed today's video, or if you found anything in particular very helpful, let me know in the comments. And make sure to turn on the notifications for when the next video comes out. See ya.